everyone, I'm Haimantika, and today we'll talk about next gen inclusivity. So, my topic for the day is how Gen Z can make real change happen in tech. Before that, yes, that's me. I'm Haimantika Mitra, and I come from the northeastern part of India. Siliguri is a small town. And currently, I'm working at Upright, which is an open source alternative of Firebase, and I'm working there as a developer advocate. Before that, I used to work as at Microsoft, and a little bit about me. I'm a person who is very enthusiastic about communities, about technology in general, and about helping people. And that used to be my passion. And very recently, I just changed my passion into a full-time job, and that's how I joined Applied as a developer advocate. And what you see on the left-hand side corner is my Twitter handle. So my DMs are always open. If any questions that you have, or if anything at all, I'm always there to lend a ear. Let's get started. So, yes, the topic that I mentioned is about how Gen Z, how we can bring a change in the tech industry. So, what I've done is I have divided our entire career into four big phases, and it goes by the famous rgyb notation. So the first one is the blue one, and that is the student phase, the phase that I was in a year ago. And that is when I had a lot of ideas, a lot of energy, but I did not know how and when or from where do I channelize these ideas into action. The next one is the green phase or the early in career phase, which I'm sure that many of the viewers might be transitioning into, and there might be many like me who has just transitioned into and is in the early career phase. It's just a transition from the students to early in career. For me, it was at least the same. And and now I have similar energy, similar ideas, but I know how, where, or when can I channelize these ideas into action. And the yellow phase and the red phase is the yellow phase is the one where you have enough years of experience. You know the rules and regulations. You know how an industry is supposed to work. And the final phase is the retirement phase when you think that, hey, I'm done with work and maybe I'll just go and settle down surrounded by lush and green environment. But our focus for the day is the green phase. Let's talk about the green zone, the zone that I am in right now. And today we'll see that how many early in career or how Gen Z can bring the change for all of us, and what are the steps that we can do to make sure that the change that we want is coming through. Let's get started. Next, so I like I've mentioned, we'll be talking about the green zone and the zone that we are in right now. So many Gen Z like me, who are of the age bracket of 20 to 24, we have just started working. We just finished out of our college, but it's sad to see that there are still, so many inequalities that are happening. There are so many posts about people sharing that, hey, we need to make technology a safe haven for everybody to work. We need to bring these changes. The technological advancement is taking place, but what about the advancements that we want to take place in ground? And that is where we can help. So, how can we step in and bring the change? Or how can we step in and make sure that we are advancing both in technological levels and both from the ground? So there might be n number of things that you want to change, and what I have listed on the left-hand corner of the screen are the things that you might want to change, and this might differ from place to place. It might differ from the place where you want to bring the change, but it may or may not revolve around the similar topics. But the kind of action that you take can be very similar. So our main focus will be on the right half of the screen, and that is what you need to do. So things that you might want to bring a change in, it can be inequality. We have been hearing that a lot. We have been hearing that technology is advancing, but there is still a fewer representation of women, and there are so many events and activities and that are being taken in charge by companies, and they're making every attempt to make sure that everybody is equally represented, but there is still a huge gap and there's so much more to do. You might also want to bring a change in existing rules and policies. Like a few days back, I was reading about some confessions of an anonymous user, and they were saying that how they were restricted on the freedom to dress, and that dressing did not have anything to do about the decorum of the office. It had to do on how person of a particular gender should dress. So if you think that this is something that is not right, if you think that this is something that you wouldn't like your workplace or your community or the place where you spend 8 to 9 hours of your day to day, be the whistleblower and bring the change. And the third thing can be something around defining pronouns. Many companies, I'll give a shout out to a company like Slack, so where they give you a little nudge. If you're using some words that are not very gender neutral, that they'll say that, hey, you might want to use words like you, hey, all, hi, everyone. And that is how you know technology is bringing a change. But if you think that there is something more you can do, that is where we step in. So the next thing that you need to do is covered in my second and the first point as well. So the second point is what I just told. So if there is a particular change that you want, the first thing is to imbibe it within you, and you being the change that you want to bring. And the second thing, or the first thing that I've noted down here, is to talk about it. Be it anything, be it something that is as big as where people from leadership and everybody needs to jump in, but words or actions or just talking about it can be the first step, and this first step is a very good step in bringing the change. Moving forward, so here are some examples that I have mentioned about, things that can actually, or the actions that can actually bring the change. And these mentorships are not only limited to getting a job, but they can also help you and shape you up into a person who is the torch bearer of the next generation. So you can be the mentor, you can mentor people around you, you can mentor peers, and tell them about the good things. And the more we focus on the good things, I'm sure that we will manifest them in future. So first thing that can be done, or actions that can actually bring the change, is mentorship. The second one is community events. For the last 2 years, we were taking, everything was online, and we were behind closed doors because of the community. And that was the time when computer were our best friends, and people on the other side of the computer were our biggest cheerleaders, and I am one example of this. So before, when I was introducing myself, I mentioned that I come from an area which is very small. It's a very less renowned place of India, and this is known for all the teams like tea, timber, tourism, and table tennis, and technology is definitely not one of them. So my journey about learning tech, about helping others in tech, or about being the person who I am today, it all started with community. And all of these are free of cost. They do not cost you any money. This is how while you're interacting with more people, we are human beings are known. We are social animals, and the more we socialize and the more we talk to people, is we how we know about different cultures, how we become a more inclusive, empathetic person. And this is this is communities are the stepping stones towards that change. But there are many people who are not aware of this community events, and our goal is to reach out to them, to tell them, to do the groundwork, to tell them that, hey, if you cannot start a community of your own, just tell them that, hey, these are the communities that are doing great work, that have helped so many students or so many people, professionals. So why don't you just go ahead and join one of them? These are some things that they can help you in. And the third one is the one-to-one conversations that we have. If you feel that something is not right with somebody, and especially in this phase where 2 years we were in our house locked up, and we did nothing apart from opening and closing our laptops, mental health had become a very big issue. And if you have noticed that it had led to depression and anxiety in many people, and it's not only because of the pandemic, but it has existed even before that and is continuing to grow even more. So having this one-to-one conversations with your friends, peers, with their colleagues can definitely, help and ease them, because they'll feel that there is somebody who is there to hear them. They won't feel alone. And also, if there is something that that might happen and you feel that wasn't right, but at that particular moment you couldn't take a step against it. So what you can do is, if the person who's the victim there, you can just set up a call with them, or you can just go and say hi and apologize that, hey, I know this is something that happened to you, but let's make this the first and the last time that it is happening. So these are just examples that have happened, that I'm mentioning, that have actually helped many people, and there can be many more that can work for you. And I'm sure that you'll be the best judge for yourself, and you'll definitely bring about a positive change in you and around you. And to conclude what all of the information that I just gave in four big and major points. First is use social media for good. We are known as social birds. We are known as the people who are use hashtags and are always on their phone. So just use it for your good. We should definitely use them for something good, for the change that we want to see. And the next is to build solution for your friends. So like I mentioned, that tech is changing, and tech is definitely bringing about a good change. All that we need to do is some amount of good work. So if you're somebody who is from tech background, if you're a developer, or if you're into any different domain, maybe you can try and build a solution for your friend if there is not one already. If there are solutions that are in making, there might be forums for different companies. Just go and tell them, request a feature and tell that, hey, this is something that we are trying to build. That's very nice, but my friends and I, we are facing a difficulty in this, and just suggest them. And I'm sure that somebody from the team there will take up your issue, and there will be a feature. If not in the next 6 months, it will be there in the next 1 or 2 years. The next one is to take initiatives, come up with a proof of concept, and take the first step. So I'll give you an example of another woman in tech, and she mentioned like the company where she was working in, they were hosting hackathons, which is, by the way, a great way to learn technology and collaborate and network with people. But then these hackathons were only limited to men, and women weren't allowed to participate. So all that she did was, she went ahead and dropped a mail to the leadership team and told that, hey, we are a group of 4 to 5 women. We have participated in hackathons before, and we are very excited to participate in the one that is coming up in our company. And I think that it's unfair that there's not an option for us to participate. Guess what happens? In the next 2 to 3 days, they received a reply that the website now is accepting applications for everyone of every gender. So this is the first step. They spoke for women, but then it became open for every other gender, and everybody, as long as they are in the company, everybody is welcome to participate. And this is just one example. Many times it might happen that you might not hear back, and you'll have to wait a bit longer, and that the time frame can be anywhere between few days, few months to few years. But you need to be consistent. You need to be focused on your goal. And with you, you can have 2 to 3 other friends who are there to support in your initiative. And if you feel that you're impacting the life of at least one people, I think your initiative is definitely a success. Now, your goal will be to scale it up to a next level, or to have a bigger impact. And that is where the last point, that is collaboration and networking, can help. So at this point, I have friends, social media friends, who are my biggest cheerleaders than my real life friends. So if you feel that you're not very, you're not a person who is very comfortable in talking to people one to one, why don't you just drop a message to someone who you think can help you on social media? And that is where, if that person responds back, you have somebody in your network, and then they will introduce you to somebody else who will be supportive of your initiative as well. And now that person will again introduce to a third person, and that is how the chain continues. And now you have just reached out to one person who liked your idea, they loved the initiative, and they themselves spread it to other people, or they might just drop a post, and then other people might just gather and be supportive of your initiatives. So the last one is to collaborate and network and be the voice. And like I mentioned, if your voice is being heard by only one and not hundreds, I think you are doing good, and it's definitely great as a start. So that's all from my end, and I hope that uh, these few points could help you in taking the first step at least, if not making everything a big success. And ending with a little hope that I could be of some value. That's all from me. Thank you. Have a great day ahead.